Hello, some rather beautiful looking swirls of cloud on our latest European satellite picture, thanks to a number of areas of low pressure. This one pushing its way eastwards, quite a sting in its tail, the eastern med though. One trying to push into the west that gets stalled, but it's this area of low pressure that will develop and sink its way south towards the Alpine region overnight Monday into Tuesday that looks to be the biggest troublemaker. At the eastern end of the med, it's been unsettled for a few days now. There are more showers to come on Tuesday. Some quite gusty winds around the Aegean, perhaps something a little wintry on the tail end of the low pressure centre that will head towards western Russia for Romania. Some colder air here. Certainly though, we're looking at some very wintry weather across the Alps in the coming days, thanks to this area of low pressure, particularly heavy, I think, for the Swiss Alps. Meanwhile, the area of low pressure towards the southwest shunts across towards the Canaries and Madeira. Wet and windy here. There's that low in the centre of Europe though, heading down into the Med on Wednesday. Some heavy snowfall to come across the Alps through into the Dinaric Alps. Some heavy rain for Croatia and across Italy. Squally winds and generally fairly stormy times. Rome and Split both looking very wet indeed. Perhaps a little drier for Sicily through the latter part of the week. Also looking still unsettled further north as well for Oslo and Paris. Hello, the week is getting off to a stormy start for the northeastern US and eastern Canada. Here's the culprit, this deep area of low pressure here that's tracking its way northeastwards, dragging cold air in behind it. We could see some snow to the south of the Great Lakes, maybe even getting quite a way south into the Mississippi Valley for a time. Meanwhile, heavy rain pushes through the eastern seaboard up into the Canadian Maritimes. Big area of high pressure further west, pulling up some pretty warm air actually into the northern territories of Canada and across Alberta for the next few days. Temperatures for some here could be 15, even 20 degrees Celsius above average. Put the brakes on the lows, slamming in from the Pacific to the northwest as well for the next few days. So we've got some fairly dry and bright prospects on the way for Vancouver for Tuesday and Wednesday. For the east coast though, as you saw, it's a different picture for Monday. Low pressure, which has originated to the south, picked up plenty of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, will start to dump a lot of that into the likes of Montreal and New York, accompanied by strong winds on Monday. Not a great start to the week, but skies clear behind this frontal system very promptly. We will see, I think, some sunshine across the Carolinas during Monday daytime, but then cold air digs down behind the low and will make for quite a frosty night, even into parts of the deep south and northern Florida to get us into Tuesday. Hello. Heavy rain is going to dominate the forecast for parts of South America in the next few days. Three areas really to look out for. Southernmost Chile, where we've got a series of weather fronts set to come slamming in. Northern Argentina and southeastern Brazil. The tail end of a weather front here is going to give us some pretty big totals, think around the 200mm mark during the course of the next few days. And then further north, it looks like our showers across Venezuela, Colombia, which stretch across into Panama, will lump together into perhaps a more organised area of low pressure through the next few days, and some fairly relentless rain on the way for many here. In contrast, it's much quieter across central and eastern Brazil. Maybe get the odd shower stretching as far north as Rio. To the south of our weather front, cooler for Buenos Aires, a high of just 21 degrees on Monday. For Asunción, plenty more showers in the forecast. Buenos Aires recovers its temperatures as we see some dry and fine weather here, but lots of showers for Caracas and Bogotá. The tail end of a weather front working its way out of the US will bring some showers to eastern Mexico, across the Yucatan Peninsula and into Cuba through Monday. That will clear pretty quickly. Unlike this rain across Costa Rica and Panama, associated with that wetter weather affecting Venezuela and Colombia, we are going to see a lot more rain here as well in the next few days, looking very wet for San Jose, for example. Hello. We're facing the prospect of below average temperatures and some pretty unsettled weather for the northern coast of the African continent in the coming days, all courtesy of what's going on further north in Europe. Particularly through the middle of the week, we're anticipating quite a deep area of low pressure digging down into the Mediterranean, pulling colder air in along with it. Some heavier than average rainfall further south though for Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Zaire in the next 48 hours too. Meanwhile, through the Central African region, actually much of the rainfall looking a little lighter than perhaps we'd expect at this time of year. But plenty of showers for Harare in the next 5 days. Some heavier falls of rain for Maputo. In contrast, for Cape Town, with increasing amounts of sunshine, our temperatures will be on the up here. You get the picture, though, with the unsettled weather along the northern coast of Africa as we look at our outlooks for Casablanca, Algiers and Tunis in the coming days. Some more in the way of showers closing in on Syria and the Lebanon as we move into the middle part of the week too. Unsettled weather coming through the eastern Med, and we're seeing an area of showers really tending to linger around the Gulf for the next few days. We'll see some affecting Riyadh, but if anything, it looks like Kuwait could get some of the heavier, more persistent rainfall. Quite a contrast between the north and south of the Gulf there. You see Kuwait with the showers. For Abu Dhabi, much more plain sailing, lots of sun here. Hello. Last week we watched Nivar push in from the Bay of Bengal to peninsular India. This week, again, we're keeping a close eye on the same region on the satellite picture for the potential for another cyclone to develop. A tropical depression at the moment, either way, as it rolls its way westwards towards Sri Lanka and southernmost India, particularly through the middle part of the week. We're anticipating some very heavy rainfall here, stormy seas and potentially strong damaging winds. Looking further north, the story is a good deal quieter, but as we head as far north as Kazakhstan, we do run into some much colder air. Temperatures below the seasonal average for Nur Sultan and Almaty on Tuesday. We will, I think, see a little bit of snow across the Hindu Kush, but nothing particularly heavy here. We continue with some fine weather for much of Afghanistan, however, across Pakistan and into northern India. Something of the calm before the storm across the Maldives and southernmost India through Tuesday, but this whole area of wind and rain is set to push in later on in the day and will come to dominate on Wednesday. No sign of anything significantly warmer on the way for Nur Sultan in the coming days. If anything, it looks like it will get colder as that frigid air really starts to establish itself. Plenty of sunshine for Kabul and Islamabad, also for Dhaka and Kinshasa, but it's rain for Chennai and Colombo. Hello. We're still seeing a big area of high pressure sitting across China currently. It means a lot of fine weather here, although underneath the high in some areas, there's quite a lot of trapped cloud and in some spots some dense mist and fog. Further south, the weather pattern much more mobile though, big areas of showers targeting the Philippines and monsoonal rain pushing into central and southern Vietnam in the coming days. The high across China is also pulling a lot of cold air out of Russia across towards the likes of Beijing and Seoul for the next few days. A little bit more mobile for Japan as we go further into our week ahead. What do I mean by that? Well, it'll be windier at times with some spells of rain, particularly to the south. Also in line for some heavier rain in coming days, Singapore, Malaysia and parts of Indonesia. You can see pretty mixed prospects for Tokyo in the next 5 days. Beijing should see some sunshine, but temperatures no higher than 5 or 6 degrees. Heat, the big story though for Australia in the next few days, particularly across the northern half of the country. The heat from the interior will surge its way eastwards once again too later on in the week, but cooler to the southeast initially as we see low pressure bringing in more cloud, some rain and cooler air. Another low pulling away from the North Island of New Zealand on Tuesday after a wet and windy start to the week here. Tuesday, a quieter day, but look how those temperatures come up again for Rockhampton and Brisbane later this week.